Let me tell you how I destroyed my life. I forgot my son's lunchbox again, the second time this month. Don't worry, it wasn't long before I was humbled by the few therapy clients I saw soon after. So anyway, let's talk about keeping things in perspective, huh? So picture this. It's Tuesday. That feels like a Monday. I'm running on fumes because let's face it, the weekend was not enough to recharge me. So following into the week, stumbling over myself, over the tasks, the little logistics, this and that, laundry, whatever else is going on in my life. And so one little simple slip, and there it goes. My life falls apart, right? Anyway, driving my son to school, and it was probably 3/4 the way through. And suddenly, oh no, it struck me like a lightning bolt. And I realized that his lunchbox was still in the fridge at home. Yeah, I was hyperventilating a bit. And maybe I'm being a little dramatic, but nonetheless, I said, son, it happened again. And look, he looks, he looks out to me. He's like, what? And I say, oh, I start mumbling, muttering to myself. And I'm realizing that I'm going to start looking like a miserable mess in front of him. And I lost it. So suddenly the birds stop in the sky. It starts to turn red. And I'm full of existential dread. I start thinking, oh, these teachers, they're going to see me walk in there and I'm going to slip out and I'm going to have to slip back in and they're going to see me again. It's like the Matrix. It's just skips. And suddenly I'm going to be judged. I'm going to be that failure father that fell through the door. Look at him. They don't think of your son. He's going to starve, right? They don't provide lunches there, FYI. So I prefer to pack them anyway. And I was very diligent to do so the night before. So you can imagine that it was even more disappointing that he wouldn't be able to have that. I had a full morning full of errands and all sorts of things. And I had to go back through rush hour traffic. And I'm thinking about this. And it's just awful. It's terrible. So let's just hit the pause button. Something's not right here. I realized that there's such an importance of keeping things in perspective. And I wasn't kidding. There was definitely multiple humbling sessions, even the day before, the real Monday. So in response to my messy morning, I was inspired to put together 6 strategies to help you keep things in perspective before spiraling out of control. But first, the crucial point. You might have clicked on this video in the middle of what feels like a disaster. I'm keeping things lighthearted. These strategies apply to anything, big or small. It's all about scaling them to size and shifting your perspective. Oh, and somewhere in this video, I've slipped in a bonus strategy that might just change how you see your problems. Now, before we dive deep, here's a taste almost as delicious and healthy as my son's lunch. There's a mindset shift that shrinks and reshapes your problems while not invalidating them, an active way to let go that helps take control of your emotions, a simple question that changes how you see the future, turning foresight into meaningful hindsight, and that sneaky voice in your head that's shaping your reality without you even noticing. Little trickster. Stick with me. We'll break these down into something you could actually use. First idea I have for you. So it's just zooming out. Okay. I think that in the moment, we particularly can get so caught up. There's this emotional impact. Like, we're blindsided by these things, even when we weren't, right? To zoom out, I think quite literally when we do so, we can see a bigger picture when we're on our phone, etc. So, figuratively here, look at it the same way. Zoom out. What are the big implications? What are the stakes? I think that when it came to this little lunchbox fiasco, there's going to be an appointment that had to get rescheduled. Okay, some errands, maybe they'll have to be delayed another day. Well, okay, that's frustrating, right? I think that when we're worn out, stress tolerance is reduced. Yeah, keeping things in perspective is going to be a little more difficult, right? In this case, I think that taking a breath, sure, a somatic approach of sorts, right? And allowing yourself a moment to ask a question. Is this as big of a deal as it really is? And let yourself just kind of emotions, settle down. Like, let's kind of think about this right now. I think that with effort, we can, rolling into the second tip, is go through the grief of our grievances and the things that are coming up in our daily lives. So forgetting your car keys, for instance, you could go through the whole grief process over this sort of thing. Denial, no way. It's just freezing up and I should have them. Checking your pockets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. And also then bargaining over it. Well, shoot, there's another pair in the other thing, or can I take, what else can I do? And you're rolling through it. You're getting angry. You're getting down, disappointed, despair. And can you reach acceptance soon enough? It all can happen in a matter of 5 seconds, really. Look, no judgment if it took longer than that. I think that trying to just let yourself go through that initial shock, grieve your grievances, okay, zoom out, just try to reach a point of acceptance. What's the big picture here? Am I going to be okay tomorrow? Alive? Bodily health still intact? Even so, I think that scale to size, all the situations we could fit into what I'm talking about here, act accordingly. I mean, I think that there's definitely going to be much more terrible situations than the tragedy of me forgetting my son's lunch, which, by the way, I brought it back. Don't worry. That was something that I didn't want to forget to let you know, and so you could be relieved for my well-being, my sake, right? I think also another way to put it, if you're zooming out, it's also considering a timeline here. So 5 days, 5 months, 5 years. Okay. In 5 days, will I be feeling the fallout of forgetting my son's lunch? 5 months? 5 years? I hope not. So think about it that way. To whatever issue that comes up for you, apply that same principle. And again, I think it's really key, keep this in mind, open up space to ask that question, to present to yourself a case for you to zoom out. Zoom out, try to grieve your grievances here. Okay, let's get through it. Let's reach acceptance. It's not necessarily having to speed run that, but we also want to consider that if we have a moment of silence or just a moment to sit, let's think about it, roll through it. 5 days, 5 months, 5 years, maybe you got rejected, look, you're shot, but it's just, okay, it didn't go the way you thought. Is it embarrassing? Okay, how is this going to be in 5 days, 5 months, 5 years? All right, you're going to be all right, okay? We got a few more here. There's reframing challenges. No problems, guys. There's no problems, really. It's more like challenges, right? Different connotation to it. Challenges are things that are for your growth. They're definitely going to be, let's call it character development, right? And so problems are things just to sweep it out of the way, knock off your list. Okay. But that's definitely going to be something where I take an aside here for a second and, express to you that one of my approaches to therapy is using this term, is presenting to people the idea of guiding perspectives. And so, for instance, if you're going into an interview and it's for practice, you want that damn job, okay? But yeah, it's for practice. All right, if I get it, if I don't, I'm going to learn from this experience. And all right, let's see how it goes. Okay. All right. Otherwise, it's do or die. You don't get this job, you're done. Okay. All right. Between the two, you're going to feel differently. You're going to think differently and behave differently. And that's just the way of it. So I think when we have this idea of a guiding perspective, it's something that you can craft, you can choose, and you can wield to your advantage. Do you have a problem, or is this a challenge? Is there something out of this that can build your character, that on the other side of it, you'll be out ahead? And so depending on how much you value character development, maybe that's something to consider for the future. Okay, we got a couple more here. One is also gratitude. Like I said earlier, I was certainly humbled, and on more than one occasion, by plenty of my clients. When you see someone going through something else, it's really important to step out of our own mind, our own body, and not being the center of our own galaxy for a bit. The point is that when we have a point of relativity, we also, look, it's no competition. It's no competition. We don't need to be comparing people's challenges, struggles, right? But I would say that sometimes it's rather useful when used in a fair light and for the sake of getting a point of reference. So are my problems? Nope. My challenges? Really that bad? Is it that difficult? Truth be told, I know sometimes you just want to feel validated, and that's really important. Nonetheless, keep these words in mind. Humble thyself. by the way. I cut it out 3 times of messing up that phrase. Laughs on me. Nonetheless, gratitude's so key, and that's something obviously that will come up in other videos of mine that I would hope you look forward to seeing. Last one, I'll keep it simple. It's going to be about storytelling, the storytelling that you have in your head, that inner narrator. It's so critical. This is something that we'll cover in future videos, but really getting to understand how that inner narrator operates and how powerful and critical it is to be in tune with it and to understand what it's doing to you, what it's doing for you, and not letting your life being passively told and shaped for you. Rather, that you are the author. You're taking active authorship of your own life. That means that you're narrating through things in a healthy way. And of course, just really trying to not just be positive, it's just be you in your own head and not someone else, and certainly not the negative version of yourself. And if all else fails and you just can't keep anything in perspective, let yourself have a tantrum. Let it all out, and then clean yourself off and get going. And so it's with gratitude that you've seen the way through this video, and I hope that it helps. And in any case, if you happen to forget your car keys, your lunch, I encourage you to reconsider the significance of doing so. And you got this. You're good, and you'll be all right. I'll see you next time.